Hey everybody, this is Mike Schrank. Welcome to this series of 10 bot demos and code reviews for the book, Developing Bots with Selenium Python. If you got here via a link from the book, well, thank you. If you got here because you used a shared link, well, thank you as well. But please remember to like and subscribe below.
The creative misapplication of technology.
Hey everybody, this is Mike and welcome to Project 4 in a series of 10 projects that coincide with 10 projects in my book, Developing Bots with Selenium Python. This particular project is something that, if you develop bots for any length of time, is something that you may be asked to do, and that is to write a procurement system. In this particular case, we are going to buy some plastic cups. Let me show you what the target website looks like. And I think this is the first time we have a bot that has to do authentication. The username is Selenium. The password is Python with a capital P. Don't attempt to hack this. It's really not that hard. It's not meant to be hack-proof. It's meant to demonstrate how to authenticate into a system, basically. So please don't try to hack this. It's not going to prove anything. It's a simple store, but that's probably all we need because this is where we order our 12-ounce and 16-ounce plastic cups. We can order clear ones. And this is 12 ounce. We're going to order 10 dozen of those for $7. Notice we have a little JavaScript that keeps up with this. Oh, let's get some red 16 ounce cups. Let's get 40 dozen of those for $40. I want tracking. I want rush delivery. And you have to include a order number or it'll bomb out on you like this. So you can put anything you want in here. That's what I'm choosing to put in there. And once I do this, we get a receipt, basically. Our bot will then capture this and save it as a file. So even though this is very simple, doing this in reality is not that much harder. Here we have websites that are designed to do this kind of thing, so you don't have to go out and practice on Amazon or your vendor site. You can come here and you can practice on here, learn how to do things, and then you can do really cool things like integrate it with your accounting or inventory system. So when you hit a certain threshold of inventory, you can go out and automatically make an order. Or maybe you can scan websites and look for things when they're underpriced. It's a good time to buy things. There's a lot of things you can do with this technology. All right, let's watch the bot run. All right, so we're pulling up the website and we're waiting just a moment to look human. And again, the username is Selenium, password is Python, uppercase P. Here we are ordering some clear 12-ounce cups, 10 dozen of them. We're ordering some 16-ounce red cups, 100 dozen of those. We want tracking, rush delivery, and delivery notification. Purchase orders 1, 2, 3, ABC. And there it is. And we send it out to a file called order_123abc.html. And that's it. And we are exiting gracefully. If we come look over here, we indeed do have a copy of our receipt, essentially, sitting right here. Let's look at the code. Okay, so here's the start of the payload for this project. Again, we are using the framework, which we developed in project number 2 for all of our bots since project 2. This bot is no different. So that we're not going to deal with initializations and closing. Here we have username, password. There are problems with having username and password in clear text like this. It's the same problem that database administrators face. You come into situations where you have the need to have these in clear text. The best thing to do is not to do it the way I'm doing it here. The best thing to do is to have these in the file system someplace where only the program can access, and that keeps you relatively safe. Okay, so the first thing we do is we get the initial web page. We enter our username. We enter the password. This stuff should all be looking pretty routine to you now. We are using find element by name, and we're doing a click, and we're doing a find element by name. We're using send keys to send the password. We also use send keys to send the username up there. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because this should be looking pretty routine to you by this point. And again, authentication is the same as filling out any other kind of form. At least it is in this particular case. So we verify a landmark. The landmark we have is a piece of code, which is actually, it looks like JavaScript code. If it's not there, we assume that we did not authenticate. But if we did, we come along right to the log that we authenticated, and then we place our cup order. The first thing we do is we write out to the log that we are buying 10 dozen clear 12-ounce cups, and we click on 12-ounce clear, and we pick 10 dozen. I'm not sure we talked about how to do drop-down lists before, but this is how this is done. What you do is you create a drop-down object, and you do that through the driver, and you're basically doing it by the ID of that select list, right? So this select list has an ID of 12-ounce dozen quantity, okay? So that's how we get this drop-down object. From there, we create a piece of XPath. I highly suggest looking ahead to chapters 15 and 16 on the DOM and also on locators for information on XPath. XPath is basically just another identifier like ID or name, except it represents the hierarchy of the web page and where that object fits within that hierarchy. In a nutshell, that's what XPath is. We do a very similar thing for 16-ounce cups. You notice we're using find element again, and this time by ID, and we're using click because we're clicking on those. We do the same thing then for the 16-ounce cups with the drop-down. We create another XPath. We use that XPath and find element by XPath with the drop-down object, not the driver, but the drop-down object. We select tracking, we select rush delivery, we select delivery confirmation, we fill out the PO number, and then we hit enter, and that submits the order. This is how we capture the receipt. We look for a table. We create a variable called data table, which basically is the table which has the ID completed order. And from that, we use this very JavaScripty looking thing where we do a get attribute of an inner HTML. It looks very JavaScripty because it is JavaScripty. That becomes our order text. We create a file name based on the word order and the PO number.html. And then we write it out using write file, which is in libbot. We write it out to the log file. We set out the order file is the name of the file, and then order text is the contents. And then we wait for just a little moment. If we weren't able to find a landmark, this is where we would have dropped down to. And that is the end of the payload, and we allow the framework to close gracefully for us. Next up, Project 5, widgets and action chains. We'll see you then.